Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Justin Abramson with you alongside Josiah Emery and Justin
Hello.
Nordstrom. Justin has been the assistant commissioner for Atlantic League over these past couple of years. Has helped me out with any tricky decisions that come along. And then, of course, Josiah, his Pennsylvania teammate, was a real Cinderella story last year. Made a run, an undefeated run at that, all the way to the finals before falling to Tim Furrow, but still qualifying for Champions League. So thank you guys so much for joining me, Justin. It's great to have you back, and I'm glad to have you here. And then Josiah just joining us for the first time. So, guys, I'm looking forward to this. How about you?
Yeah, same here. I should point out from the beginning that Justin is really the organizer here. I am assistant in name only, and the first thing that should probably be said for anybody participating is just a big thank you to Justin for your work in organizing and promoting the Atlantic League. So thanks for that.
I agree.
Well, thank you very much, Justin. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, JR is watching an ad because JR used to be a loyal subscriber, and now he's mad that he's watching ads. So, all right, JR, you can watch your ad, and then we'll get to the draw. So here we go. I'll just give everybody a brief overview of the field. It's going to look exactly like it did last year. We have 6 pots of 4 players each. We'll have 4 groups of 6 players each, and then we'll slot 1 player from each pot into each of the 4 groups. Everybody will have 5 group play games. They'll either play 3 USA and 2 USSR, or 3 USSR and 2 USA. And then after that, the top 3 from each group, so essentially the top half of participants, will move on to the playoffs. The winners of each group will move on to the semifinals. We'll get a bye. Excuse me, not the semifinals, the quarterfinals rather. Get a bye directly to the quarterfinals, and the second and third place will play in the first round of the playoff stage. So. We will just start with this wheel of names, and so you can see the individual pots here, and we've got myself, Ryan Pindelik, Tim Furrow, and Gabriel Panic in pot 1. So Ryan, the captain of Team New Jersey, defending OTSL champion, Tim Furrow, defending Atlantic League champion, and Gabriel Panic, the chairman of Team New York, actually finished 4th last year in Atlantic League, made it to the 3rd place playoff before losing to Harry Wu, another excellent player who we'll see in pot 2. And yes, we want to. We would like to organize some kind of a tournament at the end of the year where East, West, and Midwest can the winners can all play each other. So we can maybe talk about that a little bit later in the show. Justin, we'll start with you. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences playing against any of these players?
Well, they're all really good. There's that much I'll say. Obviously yourself, Justin, and there's a reason everyone on this screen is, in the top pool, and they're in contention in any event they enter to win the whole thing. I did hear from our mutual teammate, Peter France, that Ryan had a great and stellar run in the in-person convention in Stockholm. That's a bucket list attendance thing for me for sure, but I was only hearing about it, in hindsight. But from what I understand, Ryan did a great job, so kudos to him.
Yeah, it wasn't a small pond either. There were a lot of heavy hitters at that convention.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to, for a lot of these folks, get on a plane in order to play Twilight Struggle, they're pretty serious about it.
Yeah. So 3 out of the 4 people in this pot made it out of the pools in last year.
Yeah.
Who was missing, Josiah? Who was the odd person out?
You know what? It escapes me. Do either of you remember?
I don't remember.
Yes, and I will also say that the same 3 people made it out the year before as well. So we've had 2 seasons of Atlantic, and in 2 of the seasons, 3 of these players have made it out, and 1 of the players hasn't. I don't know which one. I'm forgetting. As Justin will tell you, I often forget things very quickly, so I just don't remember which of these players made the playoffs and which ones didn't. I think the chat certainly has some ideas, but we will see. And so we'll move on here to the draw.
Oh, and also, I think last year Scott Sennin was in the top pot, but he was unable to enter this year?
That's right. Yes. So Justin, I think you have some insight into Scott's status.
Yes, Scott moved. He's now living in Vietnam, and he did tell me, we were corresponding, and he did tell me there's one other player in Vietnam who's an active participant in the Twilight Struggle community. So what an interesting tournament that would be for the national winner. But so that's why he's not eligible. In the past, Jan, who is in the top 25 for ITSR, he also participated, but is now living in California. So we lost two really, really strong people, but we've gotten a bunch of new faces this year too.
Well, I feel like I've dodged a bullet because Scott Sennin was the number one player I was hoping to avoid in this tournament, so I've already achieved my goal.
Accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about Jan. He beat me in a tough RTSL game last night.
Really strong player.
I had control of Africa. He had control of South America. Going into turn 10, neither had been scored, and I just needed neither or both or only Africa to score, and instead only South America scored, and I lost. So I'm irritated about that. But yes, Jan, a very good player, very worthy of being in the Stalin division, and a member of Team California, which is qualified for the playoffs, although as third in our group, and in your group, rather, and I know Pennsylvania won that group. So we'll talk a little about the U.S. Cup a little bit later in the show. But for now, we've been yapping a lot, so I will just I'll move on to the pot one draw, and I will remind everyone, because people are complaining about a certain player being in pot one. The pots were done entirely by ITSR rather than by past results. So these players are just the top 4 players in ITSR in the tournament.
And ITSR is what is used on TwilightStruggle.com, the new website?
Yes.
Rating system? Okay.
That is right. Okay, and so here we go. We will find who is going to be in Group A. Looks like it's going to be me. So I will slot myself here into Group A, and we'll remove me. And then Group B will be Ryan. So Ryan is the defending OTSL champion, had another great OTSL season this year. Also, as you guys said, did well in the convention. So yeah, certainly a great player, and definitely one of the names to beat here.
Yeah, Ryan, I think, won his division last year, and then lost to Gabriel Panek in the playoffs.
Yes. Ryan won his division, went undefeated, but lost to Gabriel in the elimination round. He's both of those guys very good players. Gabriel made the semifinals in the 2021 version of this league as well. And so we will click here, and Gabriel will slot into Group C, and Tim Furrow into Group D. Tim, actually the lowest rated in ITSR of these top 4, but he is the defending Atlantic League champion and has performed very well in the Grand Slam tournaments as well. Had a little run in the ITSL playoffs. I don't remember who knocked him out. Maybe somebody in the chat can help point that out for me. But either of you guys ever play against Tim?
I have, yeah. Really strong player. I think has crushed me in multiple games. So, but like I said, any of these folks could easily win the whole thing.
I believe last year, Tim was likened to a buzzsaw in the way that he eliminated the competition.
Yes. Tim rolled through the competition in the playoffs last year, so he did very well, and we wish him the best of luck sort of this year. But
so
of course we would like
I don't think he dropped a single game in the playoffs.
I'm not sure that he did. If I recall last year, so I can pull up last year's playoff bracket and show everybody. Tim beat Argo, Harry, and then you. Okay, yeah. So he went 6-0 in the playoffs. So yes, you are right about that, Josiah. So Tim, definitely a very good player. Doesn't like to coup a lot as the USSR, which makes for some interesting games. DEFCON can stay high early and make for some tricky decisions in the early war. So always a fun and interesting game to play against Tim, particularly when he's the USSR. Okay, well, that is the first pot. So we will move on to the second one. We've got Harry Wu, Ted Livermore, my DC teammate, and the two of you guys. Let's. So I guess we can spin the wheel here, and see who you guys are going to play against. So first, we'll see who my opponent will be. Oh, of course, it's going to be Mr. Ted Livermore. Ted and I have played each other several times in competition. I have beaten him each time, but they've been close, good games. We've played each other, in unofficial competition, probably upwards of 200 times. So that'll be an interesting one for sure.
Ted got second in his group last year to me, and he's a fantastic player. And I'm surprised that I was in pot 2. I was in pot 4 last year, so I feel like you guys are setting me up for fewer obstacles.
Yes, you were promoted from pot 4 to all the way to pot 2, thanks to your excellent performance, and obviously you've been killing it in Silver League, right? What did you finish? 13-1, Josiah, in OTSL Silver?
I haven't played my last game yet, so it's 12-1. And yeah, I'll definitely be shooting for the 13-1. Definitely gonna dial it in for that last match.
Great. I'll get you the number one overall seed, I have to imagine. And we, whenever Ted and I play each other, I always stream the game, and we talk to each other live as we play. And so I know that